Hey guys, so this video is going to be for empaths and for Blu-ray beings because most Blu-ray beings are actually empaths anyway, so it's going to bring in both of those angles. So it's about sensitivity, so if you're interested, keep watching. So yeah, I've written down some ideas of what I found helpful to deal with sensitivity, because sensitivity is something I've dealt with since I was a young child. I remember sitting on the school bus going home and wishing I couldn't feel so much. I used to just hate it and feel so overwhelmed by feeling other people's feelings and everything that was going on around me. And so as a child, I'd quite often, because I grew up in a forest, just go and spend time in trees and hang out in nature or hang out with my dog because the dog was nice and easy to spend time with. So a lot of sensitives, empaths and Blu-rays have had to deal with these things, and they're not always easy. So I had a bit of reflection after watching another video on sensitivity by somebody else. Some of the things, yes, I totally agree with, but there's also more that I've come up with. So yeah, the first one I found easy is to take time to focus on yourself and to detach from everybody outside of you and what they need, what they want, their desires, because as an empath or a Blu-ray or a sensitive, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel like a tug on your energy, demanding some kind of attention or energy from you. And it's really important to kind of put your attention back in here and disconnect from that now and then, because otherwise you can lose track of what's actually, who's you. No, that came out wrong. You can lose track of what your own internal needs are. So it's really important to keep in touch with that. So second, yeah, the best technique I found is actually just to breathe deep into your belly, not just up here. Mostly when we're a bit overwhelmed, we tend to just breathe into our chest and breathe quite shallow. But breathe right into your belly and do that a few times and really put your attention in there and feel that breath in there. And in martial arts, you know, right down at the bottom of your belly is your tension. It's your, or tension, or however you say that, it's your center of energy and power and personal energy, where it comes from. So it's a good place to put your own attention and focus. I found that really handy even in a supermarket queue. If I'm feeling a bit like overwhelmed by anything, I'll just quietly close my eyes only for a few seconds and just breathe in and put my focus back in there, so I'm not out there all over the place. Yeah, so number 3 is setting boundaries. Now that's something most empaths and sensitives and people like that have problems with when they're young. It's something that doesn't come naturally to them. You know, some people, they're just born like that. They just go, no, this is me, this is you, your problem, I don't want to know. An empath or a Blu-ray generally has a few issues doing that, because they don't want to hurt people, because if they hurt people, they feel it and it's horrible. So it's quite a hard one. So, but learning how to set healthy and good boundaries by voicing your preferences and saying what you need and what you feel is actually really important. You don't have to be mean about it. You can, like, say you have a partner who's kind of leaning all over you a bit much, just say, hey, look, at the moment I just actually need to be by myself. This is not about you. This is what I need right now. And if they choose to not like that, well, tough bickies actually, because you need to do that for yourself. So your needs are just as important, so keep remembering that. So yeah, setting boundaries is important, even with your telephone. You know, mobile phones are actually quite intrusive, and people expect that people can be reached whenever by phone now, whereas it didn't used to be like that when a phone was bolted to the wall. I mean, I turn my phone on to silent when I'm working because I don't want to be interrupted when I'm doing people's readings, and I actually just turn it off when I don't want to deal with it, and I don't answer calls late at night and things like that, because I figure if it really is an emergency, they'll leave a message, So set some limits with that too. You don't have to be contactable and reachable 24/7. Like, I turn my phone off at bedtime too, because I have people from other countries who forget it's the middle of the night here, who decide to call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it can wait, So, yeah, set some limits, set some boundaries, look at what's right for you, what you need to do to take care of yourself. And that's a really important part of dealing with all of that. It stops that whole overwhelm from setting in. Number 4 is grounding and connecting with the planet. It's really important. It makes you feel good. It like discharges excess energy back into the planet. It's just like earthing electricity. You know how you have an earthing rod to earth electricity. We're actually standing with your bare feet or sitting or connecting with the planet is actually a really good way to do that. And to make it even more powerful, you can stand outdoors and actually just imagine roots coming out of your feet and into the earth and really connecting you with the planet. It's very grounding and very centering, and you generally feel quite focused and quite good and quite clear, and it discharges excess sort of energy that's buzzing around you that you don't need, and it might not even be yours. So I find that really helpful. I mean, sometimes it's just too cold to stand outside in bare feet, then yeah, find some other way of doing it. I know tree huggers get laughed at, but actually hugging a tree or just leaning against one, and I like leaning against them, can also help that, and then get the tree to help you do that. So yeah, that's a useful one. Number 5, they call it journaling now. It's quite trendy, but it's really just getting your thoughts out of your head and onto paper to just to process them and to let them out, to let them have expression. And it can also help you get clarity. Like, quite often if I'm really rattled by something, I'll just write. I don't call it journaling. I just buy $1 exercise books and just write. And the pattern I notice is that at the beginning I might be quite frazzled or confused or stressed, and as I write, the clarity comes through and my own answers come through. So I find it very calming. It might not work for everybody. People who hate writing probably won't work for, but I quite enjoy it. So yeah, I find that really handy, and yeah, it's been around a lot longer than the whole trendiness of journaling these days has been. Number 6, creativity, creating. Art, food, gardening, music, crafts. It's so calming and so soothing if you enjoy those activities. Like, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece. I mean, for me, sometimes cooking is incredibly calming. Making a beautiful meal, chopping up vegetables and things like that, and it's a calming process. I used to love making bread too, because kneading the dough was kind of quite a good thing to do. But if you're artistic, use those skills. It's a good way to get emotions out once again, and to calm yourself and to be more present. It's about being present. To have your focus on the present moment is really, really helpful when there's a lot going on around you. So those keys also help. So if you like painting or music or whatever, do that. Number 7, avoiding too many stimulants, which is common sense, but it's easy to slip up. I know some days I drink too much coffee and then I feel quite rattled. Just because I've been slack and not paid attention and overdone it. Being sensitive, those sort of things will really ramp up that sensitivity and give it a big push. I'm not saying you have to live completely clean and never touch that stuff, but things like that can actually, especially if you're going through a stressful time, try and limit coffee and drink something else that's not as stimulating. Same with too much sugar. Sugar can be quite... give your adrenals a big boost, because people who are sensitive are quite often using quite a lot of their adrenals to cope with that. So giving your adrenals even more of a push is not always the best thing. So drink something different. I mean, for me, I drink quite a lot of Inca, especially in the evening. I don't drink coffee, but Inca sort of tastes a bit like that, and it doesn't have any caffeine in it. So that is my go-to, but some people drink herbal tea. I also try to drink lots of water. So find something that works for you. Number 8, self-soothing. Sometimes we just need that time out to unplug the phone, to lock the door, to run a big bubble bath if you have one. Or turn on some calming music, some nice smells like an aromatherapy candle or oil burner or incense or whatever you like to do. And just switch off and just do something that just makes you feel really good. Or go and have a massage if you like having a massage. That's really, really soothing. But yeah, you can do it for free, or sit somewhere in nature that you really like, a beautiful place in your garden, or walk along a river and find a nice place where you just like to be for a while. And just spend some time just being kind to yourself and doing nice things for yourself. If you're female, even just doing things like, painting your toenails and filing your nails, or doing something with your hair, or just mucking around, making yourself feel good. Those are self-soothing too. So that is really, really helpful as well. Yeah, and number 9, remember not everything you feel is yours. That is something that took me quite a long time to learn. I used to think it was all my stuff, and I've learned since it's not. And some of it's actually other people's. So that's where bringing that attention back into yourself is important. But just remind yourself of that. If you've just spent time with somebody and you come away and you're just feeling really negative and kind of down and out, it could be energy that you've taken on from that person if they're not in a very good space. Or if you've been around somebody who's really hyperactive and agitated and one of those people, that can actually affect your energy too. So make sure whatever you're feeling is actually your own feeling and not something you've connected with somebody else. And yeah, it's a lot easier to clear other people's stuff than your own. So once you realize, oh, hang on there, no, that's actually not mine, it's quite easy to put it aside. So yeah, but there are lots of good ways to just center yourself, calm yourself, to bring yourself back to the present moment, to do self-care. Quite often, a lot of empaths, blue rays, do need quiet time on their own. It's essential for well-being, for processing what's been going on in their life. And I find for me personally, if I don't get that, I actually just kind of lose my focus. I get a bit sort of frazzled, or I get sick. Quite often I'll get a cold or something if I feel like I'm not getting enough me time. So yeah, that's one of my body's ways of going, hang on a minute, you are not taking care of yourself properly at the moment, so I'm going to slow you down for a bit. So you do that. Actually, my worst example of that was years ago. I was 30, I think. I'm 50 now. And I really had a lot going on in my life, and it wasn't all good. And rather than deal with it, I just avoided it by being really busy. And I was working a lot and running around a lot, socialising. And I broke my big toe, which is actually quite painful. I ran up these concrete steps and broke my toe. But, the job I had lined up, which was painting a roof, I just couldn't do with that toe like that. I couldn't go up and down hills easily, and it just slowed me down. And I remember sitting there and going, yeah, okay, I get the message. I'll deal with what I need to deal with now. So, yeah, often it's easier to do self-care before your body decides to let you know that, you need to do that. We all slip up. But yeah, try and do that. Try and take care of yourself, because your sensitivity is also something wonderful. It gives you insight and empathy and understanding of other people. But it does mean you need to look after yourself a bit more. So yeah, let me know in the comments below how you take care of yourself. with your sensitivity or what overwhelms you. And I've also created a group on Facebook for Blu-ray beings, which I'll link in the description, so you can join that too. It's pretty quiet still because there's only a few people in it. I only started it last week, but it is essentially something I've set up for Blu-rays to be able to connect and communicate and share ideas and just stories and support each other. So yeah, if you feel you're a Blu-ray and you relate to that, you're welcome to join. I'm not some tough big admin who's going to hard out kick people out. Okay, if people start abusing each other, I'm gonna do something about it, but I don't want to be one of those heavy-handed people who do that. So yeah, anyway, have a beautiful week and take care of yourself. Lots of love, and I'll see you in my next video.